everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to be throwing just a couple of colors on something AMG sent us. It's your boy Shang-Chi. He's already primed and everything. As always, I use Wraithbone. The detail looks absolutely amazing. And again, thank you AMG so much for sending stuff early. So, I mean, aside from like flesh and like some detail colors, his main colors are red and green. Gold is the preferred color there, and he's got black hair and some other stuff, so not too much variance going on, so let's get started. You guys know I love my contrast paints, so the first one we're putting on today is Dark Angel's Green. It's on his pants and his little belt there. Next, for his little boots there, I did do like a 4:1 ratio of contrast Warp Lightning and the Dark Angel's Green. I didn't want it as bright as Warp Lightning, so just darken that up a little bit with the green I used before, and I think it came out perfect. Our first non-contrast paint of the day is my favorite gold. It's Glistening Gold by Tooth and Coats, and I'll say it every time, you really only need like one coat of this stuff. It's absolutely perfect. So we've got like a little detailed piece on his chest. Also, he's got wrist pieces, not the cuffs because those are silver. And then he's also got like armbands. I don't actually end up recording that just because they are so thin and tiny that I needed that like super close to my face, so I do that off screen. Oh, and the bottom of his shoes too, there's a little bit of gold at the bottom of his shoes. I do recommend doing that before you do the little stone that he's on. That way you could just be more messy with it and kind of use the stone as like your guide, and then you could just go in and clean up the stone later and then do that. Next, we're going in and painting up his skin. It's Gilliman Flesh. I only do one coat of this as opposed to like Namor, who had a darker complexion. I did a coat and a half essentially of it. Something I will say, pay attention to your model when you're painting or whatever guide you're looking at. So for me, it was the box art. I ended up painting his hands in the entirety like Gilliman Flesh. And I was looking at it because there's ridges, and I'm like, oh, he's wearing rings. Like, I didn't realize that before. And after I finished, I realized, no, he has fingerless gloves on. So it's easy enough to correct, but that's why you see me painting his hands completely skin colored, is I wasn't paying attention. Next color I'm going in with is Lead Belcher silver. So he's got his nunchucks, and then he's also got like his wrist pieces that are silver as well. I actually think you could get away with doing white or silver for the wrist pieces. I think the box art actually, they appear white, but when you look up like comics and stuff like that, they're silver because they're metal. Next color we've got is my favorite contrast red. It's Ball Red. I think it's very bright and pretty, and really what most reds are looking for. Like anything else, you could dull it down with something else. This was the most time consuming. I don't know if you hear my dog snoring. This was the most time consuming, partly my own fault. So the end of his tunic, I was being super careful with like getting the underside of it and everything, which you actually don't have to do if you are, again, paying attention to whatever guide you're following, because that's actually, there's like a white trim, which I wasn't completely paying attention to. So he's got his tunic and, like I said before, his fingerless gloves that are on his hands as well. So we're going in with Corax White, and cleaning up, there's like trim on his shoulders as well as the bottom of his tunic as well, and then other little stuff that I need to trim up. So he's got, oh, and there's a detail piece on the front as well, some like buttons, and then just trimming up his base as well. decided to keep it pretty simple for his hair, so we're just going in with Contrast Black Legion. So with Shang-Chi being essentially done, we're moving on to his base, the stone that he's on. We're going in first with the Contrast Apothecary White. Giving that white plenty of time to dry, we're just going in with the normal basing color that I like, which is Contrast Basilicanum Gray. I know it doesn't quite flow into the stone piece, but I don't mind that. So this might sound like a weird kind of recipe, but I've done this for other stone and I think it's a great look. Over top of the Apothecary White, just going in with Agrax Earthshade. It kind of gives it like this dirty stone, and you can really just kind of cause like different splotches here and there with the shade and make it look like some spots of like white stone are dirtier. So that's why I like this recipe, and I think it's pretty simple and easy. Very last step is going in with Agrax Earthshade over top of the gold that's on his body, and then Nuln Oil on top of the silver that's on his body and the nunchucks, as well as basing the rim black, Abaddon black actually, which I do off screen. Alright guys, that is a finished Shang-Chi. I would say the model took me maybe like 2.5 hours to paint, aside from the fact that it actually spanned me like 3 days because I had stuff going on. It was a fun model to paint, pretty simple and straightforward. Again, thank you so much AMG for sending me some stuff early to get painted up for you guys, and remember, here at Married Couple Protocol, we love you.